Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Muhibbullah Wazir. Now we discuss the muscles around the shoulder joint, and for that, what you do now, you cut the pectoralis major and reflect it. When you remove the pectoralis major, number one, look over here, you will see the capsule of the shoulder joint, and number two, you can see this is the dorsal surface of the scapula, and this is the spine of the scapula. So you can see number one, the supraspinatus muscle, and number two, this infraspinatus muscle, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and then edge to edge with infraspinatus. This muscle, this is teres minor, and below that is teres major muscle. And this muscle which you can see over here, this is the long head of the triceps. And on the ventral surface of the scapula, over here you can see this subscapularis muscle, and along with subscapularis you can see the same this one the teres major, and of course this is the tendon of latissimus dorsi. Okay, before going to discuss, I tell you some bony points as well, then we will discuss it again. Look, this is the dorsal surface of the scapula, and which is being divided by the spine of the scapula into supraspinatus, infraspinatus fossa, and this is the medial border of the scapula, and this is the lateral or axillary border of the scapula. This is the dorsal surface, and this is the ventral surface. Okay, now first we discuss, and then look, this is the upper end of the humerus, and this consists of this tubercle which is lesser tubercle, and this one which is called as greater tubercle. On this upper or superior surface of greater tubercle, you see three facets: upper facet, and then this is the middle facet, and then this is the lower facet. Upper facet, middle facet, and inferior facet. Three facets, and three muscles are coming over here from above to be attached. Okay, now first look over here, this muscle. Look again, which one is this muscle? This is supraspinatus, and you can see over here very clearly that the supraspinatus, it originates from the lateral part of supraspinous fossa, and also from this upper surface of the spine of the scapula, from lateral two-thirds of this supraspinous fossa, and from the upper surface of supraspinatus, so the spine of the scapula, and then the tendon passes forward over here, and you know over here is the capsule, this one, the capsule of the shoulder joint. And now this tendon, you can see this passes deep to the acromion process, and it is being attached over here to, number one, it fuses with the capsule of the shoulder joint, and number two, it is being inserted, I told you, into this upper facet of the greater tubercle of the humerus. To the middle facet is attached infraspinatus, and to the lowest facet is attached the teres minor. The three muscles, three tendons, supraspinatus, infraspinatus, and teres minor, they are coming to be attached over here. So in this way, the supraspinatus is being fused with the capsule of the shoulder joint, and then it is attached to the upper facet on the greater tubercle of humerus. Now you look over here again, just think, this muscle is coming from here to here. This is coming, and this way it lies again on the lateral surface of the shoulder joint. That's why, look, it is coming from middle to lateral. The first action is that while the limb is being moved up and down, or especially in abduction, this muscle, it withdraw the head of the humerus to keep it always with the glenoid cavity. This muscle, which is attached over here, it acts like a ligament. It keeps the head in contact with the glenoid cavity and do not allow to dislocate. And this is the one thing that it helps in stability of the shoulder joint. Secondly, because it is coming from above and laterally, that's why it is also the abductor of the shoulder joint along with the deltoid. But it is a weak muscle to do it the abduction, but main action is to stabilize the shoulder joint, stability of the shoulder joint. Okay. And then I told you that over here yesterday from this brachial plexus, from the one nerve passes laterally and supplies this supraspinatus, then it supplies the infraspinatus. Both are being supplied by suprascapular nerve from the upper trunk of the brachial plexus. And note the point, this is suprascapular notch, and it is bridged by a ligament, transverse scapular ligament. In this way, this notch is being converted into a foramen. And two structure passes to the supraspinous fossa, one below the bridge, one below the ligament, and another above the ligament. And it is said that RB above the bridge and NAV below the bridge. That is the suprascapular nerve, it passes below the ligament, and the suprascapular artery, it passes above or superficial to the ligament. So in this way, the suprascapular supply this one, then turns through this spinoglenoid notch to supply the infraspinatus muscle. Now, the another muscle which lies over here, you can see this is infraspinatus, very big muscle, and edge to edge will utilize the teres minor. This is infraspinatus, and edge to edge utilize in the teres minor. The teres minor seem to be the port of the infraspinatus. And look, this is the greater tubercle. This is the capsule of the shoulder joint. So this supraspinatus, this infraspinatus, all are being fused with the capsule of the shoulder joint, and the infraspinatus is being attached to the middle facet on the upper surface of greater tubercle, and the teres minor is being attached to the lowest facet on the upper surface of the greater tubercle. Now the origin of the infraspinatus, you can see it very clearly from the infraspinatus fossa of the scapula, from this fossa and from this inferior surface of the spine of the scapula. But note one point, that over here to the margins of the scapula is being attached a very strong fascia. So this infraspinatus muscle is being covered by this strong fascia, which is called as infraspinatus fascia. And it is because of this reason, if there is fracture of blood of the scapula, the hematoma which comes, it is always being localized because of the attachment of the infraspinatus fascia. Now this infraspinatus tendon then pass upward and laterally, and over here lies one bursa between the tendon of infraspinatus and this part of this part of this scapular neck. And then you can see this tendon is also being fused with the capsule and attached again to the upper middle facet, to the upper surface of greater tubercle. Now this muscle is also supplied by suprascapular nerve, and you think over it that this muscle, okay, it number one again, it during movements, because the shoulder joint is very freely movement, and you do a vigorous movements in the shoulder joint, for example in playing, in bowling, during cricket, or in other action, the free movements. So this during vigorous movements, the supraspinatus, the infraspinatus, and teres minor, all the three, they withdraw the head towards the glenoid cavity and do not allow to dislocate. That's why these three muscles are more stabilizer of the shoulder joint in addition to the other action. But the primary action of this supraspinatus is the abduction, and that is again, then it also laterally rotate. This infraspinatus and teres minor, both of them, they are laterally rotated, as well as they can do extension as well, because they are lying on the posterior surface of the shoulder joint. And then the third muscle, this small muscle, this is teres minor, which lies edge to edge, and this one is teres major. Now note one point. Look, this is the lateral border or axillary border of the scapula. From this big oval facet over here originates the teres major, and from this area above that originates the teres minor, and over here is a groove that is for the circumflex scapular artery. So this is an oval facet on the dorsal surface lateral border of the scapula, that is for a teres major, and over here is for teres minor. And this is the infraglenoid tubercle. From it originate the long head of the triceps. Now what happens that this is the long head of the triceps, the teres minor originating from over here, it passes posterior to the long head, while the teres major, it passes anterior to the long head. So these two brothers, the teres major and teres minor, are being separated from one another by this long head of the triceps. So you can see over here from this oval facet on the dorsal surface axillary border of the scapula originates this teres major, and from this area above this one on the lateral border dorsal surface of the scapula, this originates the teres minor. And now look, this teres minor, it passes, and this is long head of triceps. The teres minor passes posterior on the posterior surface. Look, this is posterior, this is anterior. The teres minor passes on the posterior surface of the long head of the triceps, and it being attached over here to the lowest facet on the upper surface of greater tubercle of the humerus, while the teres major, it passes anterior on the anterior surface. Look, this one on the anterior surface of the long head of the triceps. And note the point that the teres major, look, the teres major originating from the dorsal surface of the scapula, but then it comes over here onto the anterior surface. And you know already over here, that attached, this is the bicipital groove, and attached to the lateral lip is the pectoralis major. Now this teres major comes to be attached to its medial lip of the bicipital groove, originating from this surface of the dorsum on the inferior angle. Over here is the origin of the teres major, and then it comes over here to be attached to the medial lip, where to the lateral lip is being attached the pectoralis major, while the latissimus dorsi, it comes over here to be attached in between the two majors into the depth of this bicipital groove. In this way, look, three muscles: laterally pectoralis major, medially teres major, and in between the two attachment of latissimus dorsi, we call it as lemon between the two major latissimus dorsi, pectoralis major, and the teres major, while the teres minor is being inserted over here. Now look, the teres minor being attached over here, it is lateral rotator, while the teres minor being attached over here, it is lateral rotator, while the teres major coming over here, it is medial rotator. Okay, so while otherwise the teres minor, it along with the infraspinatus and supraspinatus, it acts like a ligament to keep the head of the humerus in contact with the glenoid cavity in all movements of the shoulder joint. Now the teres minor is supplied by the branch of the axillary nerve along with deltoid, while the infraspinatus and supraspinatus are being supplied by the suprascapular nerve. Suprascapular is the abductor and the stabilizer. The infraspinatus and teres minor, they are the stabilizers, the lateral rotator, and also can do extension, while the teres major, it is medial rotator, because it comes over here, it can do medial rotation. Think over it, rotate it properly, then it will be easy for you. Okay, and the nerve supply of the teres major, you already know, it is the lower subscapular nerve which supplies both. Okay, one muscle just, right? Okay, one muscle, look over here, this big muscle in the concavity, look, in the concavity of this scapula, From whole this concavity of the scapula originate the subscapularis muscle, and again you can see this ridges in the surface. This is for the intermuscular septa. So this subscapularis muscle originate from the ventral concave surface of the scapula, and also by the intermuscular septa through these ridges. Then the tendon passes like that. Note the point. The tendon from over here passes like that, and over here at the anterior surface of the neck of the scapula, over here a big bursa which is called a subscapular bursa between the tendon of subscapularis and the scapula, and this subscapular bursa usually unite with this capsule of the shoulder joint, and then it is attached to the lesser trochanter, a lesser tubercle of the humerus. Now note, just 2 minutes. Now note the point that all around the shoulder joint, all around, from this side there is attachment of subscapularis, over here is attachment of supra, and over here infraspinatus, and over here is attachment of teres major. In this way, all around these muscles are being attached over here, and this attachment, these tendons attachment, we call it as rotator cuff. It doesn't mean that it is more rotator, but all of them are not rotator, but actually they give stability to the shoulder joint from the above, superior and posterior side. But on the inferior side of the shoulder joint, over here and inferior side of the shoulder, there is no muscle. There is no muscle on the inferior surface. That's why inferior dislocation is more common. And these 4 tendons all around the shoulder joint, this attachment is being called as rotator cuff. Now these tendons sometimes may get inflamed or may get a mild rupture, and this especially that is supraspinatus, and if it gets ruptured or inflamed, there is a painful abduction, and if it gets more increased, then it is more painful, and the movements are also being limited of the shoulder joint because of pain. That we call it is the rotator cuff tendonitis. This is tendonitis of the rotator cuff muscles. Or sometimes there is even more increase. Then what happens? There is a formation of fibrous tissue around the shoulder joint in these areas, and then again the movements of the shoulder joint, especially the abducting movements and then extension movement, they are being limited and painful, and then we call it as frozen shoulder or rotator cuff tendonitis. Okay, this is all about these muscles. Thank you very much.